Coming up next at 10, the state releasing results of an investigation into the CASPCA. We have community reaction.
An exclusive interview. The fiance of the man who died after a standoff with police speaks about the moments that led up to yesterday's shooting.
And a former member of the January 6th Insurrection Committee coming to UVA as a professor will explain. It's 10 o'clock. It's time for the Fox Virginia News.
Live from Charlottesville, this is Fox Virginia News with Dan Schutte, Carly Haynes, and Chief Meteorologist Travis Koshko. Now, Fox Virginia News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dan Schutte.
And I'm Carly Haynes. We'll get to those stories in a moment, but first, here's Travis at the FastCast.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
And good evening, friends. In and out of clouds for much of the day. We did get temperatures in the 60s, but now we're keeping a close watch on the horizon, the western horizon, for a low pressure system. That'll bring wet conditions during the overnight. Temperatures, though, well above freezing, so everything that falls will be in liquid form. 51 for Charlottesville, Madison, 48 in Lake Monticello, and 46 degrees in Orange. Some showers and thunderstorms pushing into eastern Kentucky and southern Ohio. They'll get here after midnight, and I don't think there will be any severe storms in central Virginia, but if you are awakened at some point during the night by a rumble of thunder or two, don't be surprised. So we've got some showers, temperatures around 52 in Charlottesville for an overnight low. And then I think everything's out of here by 9 a.m. on Thursday. Following will be mostly cloudy skies and very warm temperatures with a high of 74 degrees. But then another dose of rain for Friday and a big drop in temperatures. We'll talk about how much rain is going to fall on Thursday and how much will fall on Friday in just a few minutes.
All right, Travis, thank you. Our top story new at 10 tonight, the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors hearing from critics and supporters of the CASPCA now that the state has issued its investigation results.
Fox Virginia's Garrett Witten is here with the latest. Garrett.
Dan and Carly, the CASPCA has been under fire since January after dozens of former and current volunteers and employees sent a letter to the shelter's board of directors alleging a toxic work environment and animal mistreatment. The shelter recently cited by the state for paperwork violations.
We did have paperwork violations, and we're working very hard to correct those.
Keeping the pressure on. That's what Sarah Lloyd with the CASPCA Concerns Group says they're doing to make sure animals at the Charlottesville-Albemarle SPCA are well cared for. The group formed earlier this year accusing the animal shelter and its CEO, Angie Gunter, of a toxic work environment and animal mistreatment, what the group says is documented in these various photos and videos.
Were we concerned about the conditions of the animals? Yes.
Several members from the group spoke at the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors meeting Wednesday night. The county gave the shelter nearly $700,000 in funding for pound services this year, according to the Daily Progress. The Concerns Group is asking supervisors for three things: a county board member to sit on the board of directors at the CASPCA, request the shelter's board to hold public meetings, and allow the institution of an animal advisory committee to oversee animal care facilities like the CASPCA.
That's why we're not going to go away.
Last month, the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services inspected the shelter. In a 5-page report, the state agency cited the SPCA for repeat violations of paperwork missing information required by law.
It is our hope that we'll continue to enjoy your support while we work through these truly troubling issues.
The CASPCA board hired the law firm McGuire Woods to handle a third-party investigation. Now, it's expected to take several months. Members from the Concerns Group says no one in the group has been contacted as part of the investigation at this time. In the studio, Garrett Witten, Fox Virginia News.
All right, Garrett, thank you. Also new at 10, a fugitive wanted by Albemarle County law enforcement been arrested in another state. 52-year-old Darren Wade Powell picked up by New Mexico State Police this week. Powell, a public school counselor in New Mexico, wanted on a felony warrant for sexual acts of a minor in Albemarle County. Police confronted Powell at his home in New Mexico. He was arrested without incident. He is now awaiting extradition to Virginia.
The fiance of the man who died after engaging with Albemarle police tells us about her relationship with the victim, Billy Seitz. We're learning more about what led to the fatal shooting at the Red Roof Inn yesterday. We talked with Billy Seitz' fiance, Christina Martinez, about her version of what happened. Martinez says she was in a car with Seitz, dropping off some things for him when the police arrived. That's when Seitz grabbed a gun from the car and ran into the woods, firing several shots, but didn't hit anything. She says Seitz was suffering from mental health issues that were escalated when he found out his dad was sick.
He kept asking, I just want to see my dad one time before I go, because I know I'm going to be locked up for a long time. He's probably going to die while I'm in jail.
Martinez says police called Seitz while he was in the woods, and at one point both she, Seitz' father, and police were on calls with him trying to convince him to surrender. Negotiations broke down, and that's when police say Seitz came out of the woods, and after non-lethal methods were tried, Seitz pointed a gun at officers, and officers opened fire. Martinez says she saw it differently.
Virginia's Superintendent of Public Instruction today announcing her resignation. That's according to VPM, Virginia Public Media. Jillian Balow, who was appointed by Governor Glenn Youngkin in January of 2022, didn't share the reason for her departure. Balow's time at the Department of Education marked by controversy, including the treatment of transgender students in schools and rewrites to K-12 standards for history. The revisions received heavy criticism over omissions, errors, and claims of whitewashing history. The department also faced backlash over a calculation error that shorted school district funding by $200 million.
The vice chair of the January 6th insurrection is coming to UVA. The UVA Center for Politics announced that former Republican representative for Wyoming, Liz Cheney, will be a professor of practice at the center, a new role created by the university for those who have real-life experience in the world of politics. Now, according to the center, the inaugural appointment of Cheney is effective immediately. Cheney will serve in this role until the end of the fall semester with the option to extend. Cheney is an attorney and politician. She served as U.S. Representative of Wyoming for 6 years. The director of the Center for Politics, Larry Sabato, says that democracy is under siege, but says that Cheney stands for what she believes.
Liz Cheney, in my view, stands for democracy. And I'll be honest, she was my first choice. I'm not going to say the only person that could fill this professor of practice, but she was my first, second, and third choice. And this is her first appointment since leaving Congress. So she's got a lot to tell us. Students have a lot to learn from her. And for that matter, we all have a lot to learn from her.
Cheney will serve as a guest lecturer research for the center and will participate in lectures across the university.
Starting today, people who receive SNAP benefits will see those benefits drop by about $95. That's because the emergency SNAP allotments have expired. The Blue Ridge Area Food Bank wants people to know there are still options to get help if you run out of SNAP this month. Les Sinclair says the food bank has plenty of food, and so do the pantries nearby. A food finder tool on their website shows you places you can go. Sinclair says out of 10 people who have trouble getting food, 9 receive SNAP. Just 1 gets help from the food bank. Well, big news tonight. Regal Movie Theater at Stonefield in Charlottesville, it's staying open. Stonefield making the official announcement today. Moviegoers were disappointed back in January when Regal, the only movie theater in Charlottesville with IMAX, could possibly close. However, Regal Stonefield now says they're officially off the list after renegotiating their local lease, and they're sticking around for the foreseeable future. Emily Abbs and her daughter are very excited to hear that news.
Well, I saw a Facebook post that it was closing, and I was like, oh, that's so sad, because we would only have the Alamo left, and then the one downtown, and parking is awful downtown. So I'm happy that it's staying open with all the options. Just helps, you know.
So are you excited for this movie theater to remain open?
Yeah.
Before Stonefield made the announcement, it was on a list of 39 theaters owned by parent company Cineworld that would close due to bankruptcy concerns. But again, locally, they're staying open. I gotta take Abby to a movie.
Yeah, you got to.
Well, I mean, COVID and all. Anyway, she's ready for a movie. The CDC is warning Americans headed to Mexico for spring break, be very careful about what medications they buy.
Coming up, we'll tell you about the major concerns over fentanyl and other substances. It's after Travis in your forecast.
First of 2 low pressure systems approaching the area with rain coming to central Virginia after midnight and maybe some rumbles of thunder. This first system is the weak one. I'll tell you about the second, more potent one when it moves through after this.
You're watching Fox Virginia News at 10. Thanks to you, the #1 rated 10 p.m. newscast in Central Virginia. And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
A very good Wednesday evening, friends. How about a time lapse? Why not? JES Skyline Network cam and show clouds early, then sunshine. Clouds said, wait, not done. Hung around for the midday and early afternoon. Then sunshine said, okay, I'm taking over. Lovely sunset in parts of the area, by the way. And now clouds aplenty for all of Central Virginia. They're coming. There are more on the way. They'll blanket the area. Rain not far behind. Low pressure, the first of two, drawing moisture from the Gulf, bringing severe weather as we speak to parts of Alabama, Tennessee, and northern Mississippi. I don't expect severe weather when this moves through tonight, but between midnight and 9 a.m., we're looking for showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Why is this warm front bent all the way down to the Carolinas? Well, because cold air to the north has pushed it that far south. Now, the warmer air will take control and temperatures surging on your Thursday. So a little rain, warm temperatures, feels like spring, second day of March. Story of our winter, too. Lower 50s right now outside our Railroad studio, with 52 to be exact, 51 at Show, and 51 degrees atop Carter Mountain. A bit breezy in spots. So Futurecast has the rain moving in after midnight. Maybe some rumbles of thunder, a couple of thunderstorms, not to be surprised by those. By about 9 a.m. Thursday, I think all of this stuff will be out of here. Clouds are going to remain pretty thick, but I think that we'll see some breaks. Those peaks of sun, along with the warmer air, sending temperatures into the lower to middle 70s. So it's going to be a very warm day on Thursday. Then things change on Friday. System number 2. I think this is going to bring us rain for pretty much the entire day. The morning, it's going to be very soggy. Some of the rain could be heavy at times. We might get some breaks in the afternoon, but if we do, that might lead to a few thunderstorms. So that will be worth watching. And then late Friday night, everything winds down, all in time for the weekend, which looks absolutely fantastic both Saturday and Sunday. So your hourly planner for Thursday. 9 a.m., showers are gone. Mostly cloudy skies will follow. Charlottesville, you're up to 70 degrees by noontime, 73 at 4 p.m. As warm as it will be, I don't expect to set any record highs. 74 the actual high in Charlottesville. Crozet 72, Gladstone 71, Arvonia, Orange. You're both at 75 with 74. In Wilderness, Lake of the Woods, Louisa, Lake Monticello. Kent Store 75 and Palmyra. Your high tomorrow 73. Cardinal Home Center extended forecast goes a little something like this. You go from 74 tomorrow, 48 on Friday. Yeah, what else is new? We've had these temperature swings all winter long. Lower to middle 60s, lovely and dry for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Could pick up a few more showers next Tuesday afternoon. Cooler air will follow, bringing us back to the middle 50s on a Wednesday. And in case you're wondering, which I know the two to my left are, spring officially begins. I mean, we're in meteorological spring now, which is March, April, May. Astronomical spring begins the 20th of March at about 11:30 in the morning. So, for what it's worth, we're already there.
All right.
Like winter,
like
I was going to
gone.
say, that
Didn't have a
seems
winter.
far.
No measurable snow, first time in 140 years.
I think I wore my winter, not just snow jacket, like winter coat. I think I wore it one time.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, probably Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
Christmas, one weekend in January, and then didn't we have a weekend in February as well?
Yeah.
It was like the one weekend a month deal where it actually got cold and the rest of the time was spring.
Yeah. Oh, well. We'll look good next year. Thanks,
Yeah, that's
Travis. Well, the CDC with a message for Americans headed to Mexico for spring break. They're warning people be very careful what medications they buy.
There are major concerns about fentanyl and other substances. Fox News national correspondent William Lejeunesse reports from Los Angeles.
You name it, I got it, homie. 40% off on any medication.
More than 1 million Americans each year buy prescription drugs in Mexico. This seller, typical, greeting tourists looking for the cheaper meds that often don't require a script.
Cialis, Viagra, Levitra, Maxiport, oxycodone, morphine.
But a new study calls that practice dangerous. UCLA sent in researchers to Mexican pharmacies posing as tourists to buy Xanax, Adderall, and oxycodone. 44% of drugs were counterfeit. Oxy pills contained fentanyl and heroin. 82% of Adderall pills contain methamphetamine.
Now that the cartel has adopted Adderall with methamphetamine and learned to press those pills, our problem is going to get a lot worse before it gets a lot better.
The CDC is warning spring breakers about the counterfeit pills. A follow-up by the LA Times found 71% of the medications from 3 Mexican cities tested positive for fentanyl and methamphetamine.
I am shocked that more Americans aren't up in arms over what's going on.
At a meeting Tuesday hosted by a medical nonprofit, experts said it is difficult to tell cartel manufactured fake pills from the real thing. Packaging for other drugs like blood thinners also looked real, but the pills contained 0 active ingredients. The only giveaway, the barcode here. Somebody got lazy, numbering it 0 to 9.
They have found counterfeit arthritis medicines printed with English labels to fool Americans, cancer medications, same thing. And of course, they found plenty of fake pills with fentanyl.
So the bottom line is, experts say to stay safe, buy your meds at U.S. pharmacies, not mail order or Mexico. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
Hello, I'm Brian Strickland from Wilkinson Wealth Management, and here are your stocks of local interest for today.
It is the bottom of the hour. Hello again. I'm Dan Schutte.
And I'm Carly Haynes. You're watching Virginia's Own News at 10. Time to check in with Chief Meteorologist Travis Koshko.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
I think we're at the point now where we're just done waiting for winter to actually show up, considering the next 7 days are going to be mild and we still don't have any snow in the extended forecast. That'll take us to about 2 weeks until spring. Temperatures today topped out at 63 at the airport in Charlottesville. Normal high this time of year is about 55. Record for the date 78, set back in 1972. So we've got showers and thunderstorms creeping into the Ohio Valley. These are going to press across central Virginia after midnight, so we're still several hours away from them getting here. I don't expect severe weather here, but there will be some rumbles of thunder. Don't be surprised if you're awakened in the middle of the night because of them. We've got rain that'll continue until about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. After that, we're going to stay mostly cloudy, but temperatures, they're going to get warm. A lot of warm air coming with this line of rain and storms, and that's going to send us to a high of 74 degrees tomorrow afternoon in Charlottesville. But then with the second storm, that's going to bring colder air. Not cold enough for snow, but just kind of a wet and dreary Friday. I'm going to tell you about that and tell you how much rain's going to fall in just a few minutes. Carly.
Travis, thank you. A local brewery is preparing to open its 6th location in Nelson County. Fox Virginia's Brenna Kiefner has more on what we can expect and some new products that everyone can enjoy.
Three Notch Brewing Company is preparing to open their 6th location, which will be a part of the Nelson 151 Trail. The Nellysford location will have all the elements everyone knows and loves, with some additions that will draw in a new crowd of brewery lovers.
We're actually going to be launching a distillery down there. We have contracted for some really high quality bourbon products. We've hired a head distiller who's going to be working on the bourbon but also making ready to drink cocktails in a can.
Adding Three Notch to Nelson County was a no-brainer to the brewing company, as Nelson 151 is a large component in attracting visitors from all over Central Virginia.
We're just excited to be part of what Nelson County has built. Some tremendously great businesses down there, really strong breweries, cideries, wineries, and distilleries. So happy to be a part of it.
But Three Notch has a secret weapon to make them stand out from all the other breweries on the trail.
So the Uncool brand is new. It's a non-alc beverage, all fully fermented beer, and it tastes great. We launched it in January, and we're excited to get that one rolling.
Besides the Uncool brand, Three Notch is excited to bring something to the table of Nelson County where there is something for everyone.
It's going to be different. There's a little bit of everything. There are a couple places to eat in Nelson County. There's a couple places that are smaller and they have a heavy focus. This is going to be an all-inclusive property where you can kind of do a little bit of everything.
Three Notch will be open this summer, and you can visit our website for future updates. In Charlottesville, Brenna Kiefner, Fox Virginia News.
Make good stuff at 3-Notch. That'll be a fun place out there in Nelson County.
Absolutely.
Well, the war in Ukraine grinding on. Now America looking for international support to help Ukraine.
The U.S. is going on a diplomatic offensive to win over skeptical allies and potential adversaries as the war in Ukraine grinds on. I'm Greg Palcott in London. That's my story. Come here.
Across the world now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken going on a diplomatic offensive to win over skeptical allies as the war in Ukraine grinds on.
Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has more from London.
While the fighting escalates in Ukraine, efforts are intensifying on the diplomatic front. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrapping up a charm offensive tour through Central Asia on Wednesday. He's now in India for a summit with his G20 counterparts, where Ukraine is expected to be the main topic of conversation. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is also there. They'll be competing to win over potential allies as the war enters its second year.
We all know the simple truth that the war could end tomorrow. It could end today if President Putin so decided. He started it, he can stop it. It's on one level as simple as that.
The biggest priority will be China. Moscow has been pushing Beijing to supply it with weapons to fight the Ukrainians. The U.S. warns that could trigger sanctions that would cripple the Chinese economy, part of an overall strategy to prevent China from supporting Russia.
In many ways, China has been supporting Russia's war in Ukraine from the beginning through its dissemination of Russian propaganda and its own use of disinformation.
Meanwhile, the situation on the Eastern Front is getting worse for the Ukrainians. Officials in Kyiv say their forces might have to pull back from the key city of Bakhmut, which has been the target of unrelenting Russian attacks for weeks.
Russia does not count people at all, sending them in constant assaults on our positions. The intensity of the fighting is only increasing.
Secretary Blinken says he has no plans to meet his Russian or Chinese counterparts during the G20 gathering. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
3 UVA health discoveries are up for a major medical award. Currently, 3 UVA nominees from the health discoveries for this award.
Highlights how innovative our research is here at UVA.
Find out which breakthrough research has been nominated.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
Good to have you back on the program, my friends. Warm air, cold air, and bring on the rain. But nothing yet, even though skies are cloudy across central Virginia. I do expect we'll be dry until after midnight in central Virginia. And then soggy, but not all day. Thursday is not your all-day washout. Your out-the-door forecast brought to you by Solutions Mechanical and Plumbing. Showers should be out of most places by 9 a.m. After that, we're mostly cloudy with 70 degrees at noontime, 73 at 4 p.m. Temperatures still unseasonably mild. The story of our winter so far. 71 for Richmond and Roanoke tomorrow. Traveling to D.C. and Norfolk, you're talking temperatures in the upper 60s. Really good chances for rain, though, as you go to the south and east, and also better chances for some thunderstorms. But severe weather, not happening. Just watching on radar and some live cameras a few moments ago, take you down to northern Alabama, a little city called Decatur, right around there. Tornado warning in effect for them. In fact, very strong circulation. Would not surprise me if a large tornado was moving through northern Alabama at this time. But as this system works its way toward us, it's going to weaken a lot. It's going to run out of energy. So only a few rumbles between midnight and 9 a.m. Don't be surprised if you hear some severe weather. Not expect locally for central Virginia. And I do think that we're going to get temperatures, give them quite a bump for tomorrow. Then this system around northern Arizona, a lot of snow in Flagstaff. That system's going to be your Friday weather maker, providing us with all-day rain and maybe a couple more storms. So a safe bet we're getting something on Thursday and Friday, but a dry weekend will follow. And the next Tuesday afternoon, low chance for some showers. Rainfall totals, not all that high with tonight's system, but then they really ramp up on Friday, and combined, those systems could provide over an inch of rain to central Virginia. Quite the change in temperatures again. 74 tomorrow, 48 on Friday, but then, Carly, into the 50s and 60s through the weekend and early next week.
All right, Travis, thank you. 3 UVA health discoveries have been nominated to compete for the title of 2022 Biggest Biomedical Advance. Now, it's the 5th year in a row that a UVA health discovery has been recognized as one of the year's most significant. UVA occupies 3 of the 64 slots in this year's tournament and happen to be arranged in a March Madness type format. The 3 categories that are in the running are fighting Alzheimer's, halting the spread of breast cancer, and preventing heart failure.
It highlights how innovative our research is here at UVA. There's a lot of cool science here at UVA, that is comparable to many of the top-tiered medical institutions. And so I think it speaks volume to the research enterprise that we have here.
Voting is open to the public. It began today.
A third of all U.S. adults say they usually get less than the recommended amount of sleep, according to the CDC and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Many turn to melatonin supplements to help, but health experts say there are some things to think about before you take them. Here's Mandy Gaither with more.
It's called the sleep hormone. Melatonin helps promote sleepiness in our brains, but for some, sleep doesn't come easy.
Over-the-counter melatonins are products that people are increasingly reaching to.
But before you reach for those melatonin supplements, Dr. Nancy Foldberry-Schaefer, director of the Cleveland Clinic Sleep Disorder Center, says to know what's causing your sleep problems, there could be underlying issues that need to be addressed. She says those pills have proven to be effective for conditions like circadian rhythm disorders, but may not help all sleep issues.
While there's some subjective evidence that melatonin can help people with insomnia, there's much less objective evidence that melatonin works well to treat insomnia.
Because the supplements are offered in a variety of dosages, she says the right one may vary from person to person. And if the supplements are taken to treat a sleep disorder, they also need to be appropriately timed.
People who take melatonin in the middle of the night or take a second dose of melatonin several hours after bedtime will actually see a disturbance in sleep and may actually see that their sleep timing becomes more delayed.
That's why she says it's best to talk to your doctor. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, Elon Musk may be creating his own artificial intelligence program. Musk reportedly wants to create a rival to OpenAI's ChatGPT bot, which he believes has gone, quote, woke. Musk was an original founder of OpenAI, but cut ties in 2015 due to disagreements with the leadership. In a recent tweet, Musk complained that OpenAI was, quote, training AI to be woke. He's also been critical of OpenAI for filtering out harmful content from the data to make ChatGPT less violent, sexist, or racist. Well, Hershey's is celebrating women, the chocolate company, bringing the She Bars back for a 3rd year to celebrate Women's History Month and International Women's Day. The bar's wrappers have more than 200 uplifting adjectives on them, and they were curated in partnership with the nonprofit Girls on the Run. The limited edition bars are available nationwide now while supplies last.
Hollywood Nation, now Disney returns to a magical world. Showtime's hit drama Billions brings back a familiar face and more. Here's Ashley Dvorkin with more.
How did you come to Neverland?
A new Peter Pan debuts, Colette joins the Mafia, and The Weeknd makes history in the Hollywood Nation. The Weeknd has reached another career milestone. The singer has become the #1 artist in the world on Spotify, scoring the biggest monthly listener count with more than 100 million. His hit song Blinding Lights is the most streamed song of all time on the platform, with 3.4 billion and counting.
That's right. I am a monster.
Axe is back. Showtime announced Damian Lewis will reprise his role as Bobby Axe Axelrod for the 7th season of Billions. He returns for 6 of the 12 episodes. Lewis left the show at the end of season 5. The hit drama is expected to return this year.
What is going on?
Toni Collette gets an offer she can't refuse in today's First Looks. Bleecker Street released the trailer to the new comedy Mafia Mama, featuring Collette as an American woman who unexpectedly inherits her distant grandfather's mafia empire in Italy. The film arrives in theaters April 14th.
Peter Pan?
Were you expecting someone else?
And Disney Plus is taking viewers back to Neverland. The streamer dropped the trailer to the live-action Peter Pan remake, Peter Pan and Wendy. Alexander Maloney and Ever Anderson play the title characters, alongside Jude Law as the villainous pirate Captain Hook and Yara Shahidi as Tinker Bell. It will be available to stream April 28th.
Where is Peter Pan?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, Michael B. Jordan honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Speakers at the ceremony included Ryan Coogler, who directed Jordan in Creed and Black Panther, and Jonathan Majors, who co-stars with Jordan in Creed 3.
Creed 3, in which Jordan makes his debut as a director, opens in theaters Friday. Jordan, who's 36, made his acting debut in an episode of The Sopranos in 1999.
All right, Travis, what do you got?
Rain and some rumbles overnight. Better chance for rain. Could be quite a bit on Friday. Dry weekend will follow with temperatures in the 60s.
Close enough to look to the weekend. Sounds good. Thanks, Travis.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night, everybody.